Hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back at it again here with Minnesota Vikings football on the SSN. We are out of the bye week, out of the trade deadline. The Super Bowl 12 weeks away, and the Minnesota Vikings have a chance to go into their first trip into 5-4. First trip over 500 football for the season, as they go to Washington to face on the Washington football team here at FedEx Field and the 2-6 Washington football team. Kind of a weird intro, but we're going to keep rolling with it. Returning from injury is Zachary Anderson. We've already made sure he is in the rotation. He's not going to see too much play today. We're going to call a lot of zones and a lot of zone blitzes just to give him an ease back into the lineup, as we did with Travis Parker, and hopefully he has the same result. We went over everything in the bye week extravaganza. We scouted players. We did stats. Smeagol, of course, 3 touchdowns away from 20 on the season. Not bad for for him. Only 6 interceptions, I do believe. Let's see here. I don't want to say anything that's not... Okay, so 17 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he will get the start, obviously, today. Justin Sandman Vanderschaff, rather, having a good day here. Good year. 100 carries even. And he is first in the NFL in touchdowns with 10. Going on in the division, we will see the games as they update here, as everybody has a 12 noon game as the Bears take on the Lions. And the Packers will play, I do believe... Or no, Packers and Bears, and then Browns at Lions. So we will see updates on those games as they happen, as we get the 1 p.m. or noon, whichever time zone you're in. We get kind of the later start, but it's okay. We're going to do it. 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 We're going to get a win. We're going to go to 5-4, and we will be tied for first in the division, because the Bears will play spoiler today, even though the game is in Lambeau, or in Soldier Field. I do believe they will play spoiler, and at home they could get a win against the Green Bay Packers. So that's just me. We'll see if the crystal ball in front of me works to perfection, as we will get you ready for kickoff here from FedEx Field. This is Randy Replay. I will see you at halftime.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. The Redskins continue to move through the season and want to find a way to secure win number 3 on the year. It's the Vikings going up against the Redskins. With that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Larry, we are due east from our nation's capital at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Just as we were getting ready for air, both teams coming out of their locker rooms, out of the tunnel, and this crowd is pumped up as their Redskins get set to match up with the Minnesota Vikings. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Redskin team as they interplay here. And they've lost 3 straight here, and it goes without saying, I guess, they could certainly use a win.
And how do they get a win? Because they've lost 3 straight, I think it's paramount that they get a fast, clean start to this game.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they're hitting their stride of late. Winners of 3 of their last 4. The shadows starting to get a bit longer. Week 10 of the NFL season is here, and we're underway on EA Sports. On the return, here's a speedy Jamison Crowder. So out comes the Redskins offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by a guy who's moved around a bit in his career already. Out of the University of Texas, it's Colt McCoy.
And I'll bet right now it's just one thought in his mind.
Win the game, yeah.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He played pretty well. I mean, he didn't turn over the ball in terms of interceptions,
no,
right?
2 touchdown passes last week.
2 touchdown passes, but when your team doesn't win, that's just hollow. And the best quarterbacks don't care about anything but whether or not their team won.
First carry now for the rookie, Dalvin Cook. And he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
Again, it's Cook. with a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be third and about a foot or two. And the defense searches for one more stop here after the run on second down. They'll run it. Here's Cook. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. Didn't get it by much, but bottom line got the first down. Avoiding that 3 and out, how vital is that on the first drive?
To me, it's like the first round of a boxing match. You know, it may not mean much right then and there, but you'd rather not lose it, right? So you want to go ahead and get it, kind of establish something early, and hope it can carry through.
Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. And they still need 8 yards for the first here on 2nd down. From the gun, McCoy. Now that's complete to Brian Quick. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
They go play action here on first down. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a first down again.
I don't believe that this opening drive is surprising to either one of us after the time we spent with the coaching staff and players prior to the game. What about you?
Absolutely. Not only that, but that big article in the paper this morning about their philosophy on starting games like you're shot out of a cannon, and that's what they've done. Very methodical here on this first drive.
Yeah, so many teams talk about that fast start. We're actually seeing it happen right here in front of us.
But now the kicker. Can they cap it off by putting the ball in the end zone?
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action, hit them over the top.
To throw on second down. McCoy. And Reed with it over the middle. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Well, they were coming out of the 4-3 defensively. Pressure coming off that right side from the DN.
And that's the blind side of most quarterbacks. If you're right-handed, that's the side you don't see quite as well. And that's why you rely on your left tackle, maybe your highest-paid offensive lineman, to take care of you. In this situation, that didn't happen.
Dustin Hopkins now for the Redskins field goal. From the left hash, it's a 42-yard attempt. And Hopkins' kick is good. And it's 3-0 as the Redskins strike first. So the folks here in the stands this afternoon, they're happy about that one. Their guys get the early advantage after the opening drive field goal.
And they should be happy. Their guys look good getting down the field, and that's got to give them hope. The good things are in store here today.
And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And a glance here at the man calling the plays under center, their 6'4" quarterback. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. They'll look to throw here. Looking left side, he's got it complete. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. Shoves him away. Stops shy of the 45 despite some powerful running. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. And they're 6 yards away from picking up the first here on 2nd down. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Going to throw right side here, complete. And oh, so close as he takes it all the way to the 2-yard line. A big play there on the catch and run. 55 yards. Pretty solid start for the rookie here on this first drive, Charles.
Able to have some confidence, stepping back into the pocket, move around a little bit, find open receivers, and deliver. That just means his confidence is going to continue to grow because he's getting more and more comfortable with each completed pass.
Here we go now. Blue 90. Blue 90. Watch it. Over. All right, now look at 56. No. Check. Patriot.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great play there. His 11th touchdown of the year. And the Vikings have taken a first-quarter lead. Second effort there, he was determined to find pay dirt, and he did.
I think that's a great example of what coaches talk about, a back that runs behind his pads, and he uses pads to get him into the end zone.
Now the extra point try forthcoming. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. Together here from the D-line. They run it again with Cook. Evades the tackler, and now some space. And nothing but daylight ahead. 20, 10, touchdown, Washington. A great effort there. 76 yards. And the Redskins get the quick strike touchdown.
Often, if for no other reason than to tamp down the pass rush. They can't let them just tee off and get to their quarterback.
They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. That one goes for 24 yards. The lead to a 3rd down.
Don't forget about finding a lane there. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Probably fortunate he's able to hold on to the football.
Dancing to his left. Now he'll throw deep left side. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by the corner, Tremaine Brock. And he'll bring this one back to the 29. Don't wave your arms, right, as a receiver if you're not wide open.
Gotta know that you're open. Otherwise, just don't do it.
Cook. And some space here. Accelerating, and off he goes. Touchdown, Washington. A big play there with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So possession goes over here.
Those things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, knock it loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just...
Well, they're making a real first-quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old-school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
Entire defense, but I love the way he's finishing those runs. At the end of things, he's making sure he gets just a little bit extra.
On second down, Cook. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. A great play there. On his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Redskins find a way to stretch their lead. This is becoming quite the half he's had here. Memorable games in recent years.
They sure have.
And tomorrow night, we wrap up Week 10 with the Dolphins heading up to visit the Panthers. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there. And if you're going to give him that much space, he's not going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up extra yardage.
Good thing they do have a little bit of time here still left in the contest. Decent-sized deficit, but not one that they can't manage. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete.
Formula for winning defense, it's exactly what we're seeing in this game. Controlling the line of scrimmage, attacking, and changing everything so that now they're playing in the offense's backfield. They're playing an excellent game.
That is caught inside the 5. And they do stop him, but he takes it all the way to the 2. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
Here we go. Green, 39.
They'll motion out one of the tight ends. Now they try the right side here. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. A great effort there. His second touchdown on the season. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit.
We got a little bit of everything on that run. Offensive line creating some space, but how about the guy running behind his pads into the end zone?
What does that mean when a guy says running behind his pad?
Means that he's going to be a physical runner. That way he's able to use his shoulder pads, his forearms, anything to ward off people to power his way forward.
3rd and 3.
Let's go.
They run the counter with Cook. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage.
6 first downs, and make sure you move the ball into their territory. After a play like that, there should be congratulations all the way around, I think, because if you can stop a big fullback like that, that's not easily done.
Yeah, he does not go down easily. You're right, but he did there. He's going to walk. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
Right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of. Otherwise, he was going to get sacked.
Trying to lay one up, and that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Vikings are able to make this a close game again.
Anything that'll help slow them down.
Searching for answers. And this one complete to Reed. Jordan Reed, the 20, 10, and he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Jordan Reed, his 4th touchdown on the year.
Right now, the way it's going back and forth, it's going to come down to who can get a stop.
And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Back to the NFL. Here we go.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he's brought down. And 15 yards there on the catch and run. First down now, but that clock rolling. Now a handoff here to his running back. Fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line. Now before this second down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout, as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Quick throw, that's complete on the inside slant. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in the first half of play. Red zone opportunity. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. That is caught. Inside, will score. Touchdown, Vikings.
I think everyone in the league talks about finishing, don't they? Doesn't matter whether it's a quarter, a half, a game, a series, whatever. But they're finishing the first half in fine style, putting that one in the end zone.
They did, and they didn't leave much time on the clock either. Well done. So they're going to go for two. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Buying time to his left. And he will get into the end zone to cut the lead down to a single point. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And the window closes quickly. He'll only get up to the 22-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
That was a really nice play, able to stack that one up. When they get back in the huddle, he's got to tell his guys up front, great job. They kept people off of him, allowed him to run free, and make the hit on the runner.
Filled the gap nicely, kept him to just a 1-yard gain.
Thanks, Brandon, and welcome to the EA Halftime Report. Let's take a look back at the first half. Both the Redskins and the Vikings have a lot to be happy about after the first half, at least on offense. These teams are finding a way to get into the end.
And hello and welcome to your halftime break. This is Randy Replay. What was once looking like a blowout has now turned into the Minnesota Vikings in a position to be back in this game just down by 1 here at the half. One team is getting it done through the ground. Dalvin Cook, 200-plus yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. He had over 170 and 2 touchdowns at the end of the first quarter. In a weird game where the run defense here on the road not doing its job. Colt McCoy in for the injured, blanking on his name. Colt McCoy in for the injured quarterback of the Washington football team. I am blanking on his name. 149 yards and 1 touchdown. He almost had an interception, but it was batted away instead of picked. Robert Nichols and Jerry Myers were in the end zone right there, able to pick it off, but just swatted it away for some reason. So one team is getting it done through the ground, 217 rushing yards against our 38. This run defense is elite, and we are seeing it there. But our passing, 346 yards in the first half. Oh, my goodness. We're going to get into your player stats, just the leaders for the Minnesota Vikings, and then we will get you out to second half Vikings versus Washington football team here. Smiga with a QB rating of 123.6, 17 for 24. That is 70% completion percentage for those of you that didn't know how to do math or really didn't look over here. 354 yards in the first half, 2 touchdowns, and 1 bonehead interception. Throwing across his body deep down the middle of the field, and it was picked off. Longest pass of 63 yards. Rushing, it has been Justin Vandershoff leading the team, actually tied for first carries with Travis Parker. Justin Sandman, 4 for 23. That is the most amount of yards any rusher has got. this game. And a touchdown for Justin Sandman, his 11th on the season. Travis Parker, 4 carries, -1 yards, and a touchdown. At one point, he was -5 in the game, or -2 or 3. He had a couple 2-yard runs and then a 1-yard touchdown run, bringing him to -1. Daniel Henricks, the only other running back with positive yardage on this roster, with 3 for 20. Derek Fahey, 3 for -3. Receiving, Blake Letelier, 5 for 99 and a touchdown. Having a good day here today, Blake Letelier, going up and getting balls using that spec catch. Luis Gonzalez, 2 for 24. Darian Wilson, 2 for 97 and a touchdown. Also, if you look over here on my cursor, had 2 drops. Both hit his hands and he just dropped it. It was in traffic, so he might have just gotten a little nervous, but nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, where Aaron Nelson leads the charge with 5, Thaddeus Rozu and Robert Nichols with 4. In the first half, we didn't have too many tackles for loss. Tevin Fair had 2, Scott Rethwell, Justin Lewis, Richard Salty, Poi Tralamalu each had 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 in the first half, and then we only had 1 sack split between Josiah Russell and Terrell Oliver. No interceptions, no pass deflections, no forced fumbles, no fumbled recoveries, no block kicks, although Thaddeus Rozu had a good angle on one. Just mistimed the jump. No safeties, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings through one half of football here today. Kicking, Brandon Baker, 0 for 0. We've only scored touchdowns here. He's 2 for 2 on extra points. And no block kicks. Medical Center, Luke Slazewski left the game here after one of his catches, or his only catch really, with a dislocated elbow, so he will be out for some time. The length is to be determined right now. Currently, he is in the locker room getting checked out and worked on, however you want to say it. That's going to just about do it here for the halftime break. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you after the game where I can hopefully call a Minnesota Vikings win. It's a close one. It's really anybody's game, as you can see. 31-30, Washington leads. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you after the game.
Do it in practice.
Here's McCoy, and that is incomplete.
Partner, the way this offense is, that's a big-time play by the defense.
They'll set up to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
In this situation, though, that A-gap wasn't open for the defense to exploit.
Taking it right down Broadway. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A great play there. His second touchdown on the season. And the Vikings are going to retake the lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned, if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that second down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
And almost intercepted. Would have been a huge pick in the end zone, but as it stands, that brings up 4th.
Let's give this defense some credit now. They let the guys get downfield. But when push came to shove, they stood their ground. Now they're likely to force a field goal attempt.
And Charles, they get the field goal. Took them a dozen plays, though. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete. He got 29 yards that time. Well, we haven't been shortchanged on offense. Another fun play to watch there on the deep pass.
This game has the feel of, a turkey bowl, a Thanksgiving day. You know, when we get together this year, when the Davises and the golf.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains. And here comes play number 6 on this drive. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. And in this situation with a lead fourth quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. They'll run it now out of the gun. That's going to be a 6-yard gain. It leaves them with 3rd down and just a yard to go.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They're at 50%, 4 for 8. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1.
Here we go. Blue 90.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Minnesota. A great effort there. His 4th touchdown on the year. Cushion, but back-to-back pretty big pass plays there. Bend but don't break, but are they bending too much?
I think that they are. To me, it'd be like playing basketball. And you put up a token press, make sure you get up there and make them eat up some time. Make it a little bit of...
Looking for Crowder, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 13. And he returns it up just shy of the 20 to the 19-yard line. Both defenses have had their struggles, but they've been good enough to get them this lead, and another nice play there to help preserve the lead. Operating from the gun, McCoy. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you're getting 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work.
Here's McKinnon. And he is into the end zone for a Washington touchdown. Jarek McKinnon, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. The Vikings on 3rd down. They've hit on half of them, 5 for 10. This time it's 3rd and 3. They'll drop to throw. Being chased out left. He can run for it, and he will. And he'll slide down to avoid the tackle. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the 1st down. The Vikings on 3rd down. They've converted 6 times and could use a 7th here. This will be 3rd and 5. And to give this time to the tailback. And he picks up the 1st before he's taken down at the 29. It's a gain of 6, and that ought to just about do it.
Football where coaches decide maybe to get a little greedy. I don't know if they're doing it for stats or for what reason. We've seen it happen in college, and how about in the NFL? The miracle of the Meadowlands. All they had to do was take a knee, and the game was over. The Giants ran it one more time. Ball popped free. Philadelphia picks it up and wins the game.
What year was that?
1978. I think it was in November.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for the Vikings, The win gets them back over 500 at 5-4 on the year. And they'll return home next week to take on the LA Rams. Meanwhile, for Washington, the turnaround hasn't materialized as they fall to 2-7. And they'll try to turn things around next week as they have a matchup in New Orleans against the Saints. So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gunn. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. With that, we sign off from Landover.
And with that sign off, we welcome you back up here into the broadcast booth with Randy Replay, where the Minnesota Vikings have put away the Washington football team 44-41. Aided by the interception by Zachary Anderson. His interception in his first game back from injury. Going to get into these player stats, and then we will get you back to the main screen where we will preview the next week's game. Dalvin Cook, 26 carries, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging just under 10 yards per carry. That is a rarity here in Minnesota the last 3 weeks, as we have held running backs pretty much in check. That's a one-off. I think we'll get it back better next week against the Rams. Smeagol with a QB rating of 121.3. He was 22 for 31. That is 70% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here, 448 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, putting him at 19 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions on the season. So that's pretty good still. Rushing, it was Justin Sandman Vandershoff taking 12 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Travis Parker, 9 for 22 and a touchdown. Daniel Henrik, 6 for 31 and a touchdown. Derek Fahey, 5 for 34 and a touchdown. Sam Gable, 5 for 25. The only running back on this roster without a touchdown, Sam Gable. And most of these guys had negative yardage going into the half. So the second half was very, very good for the running part of the game for the Minnesota Vikings. No fumbles, as you see, 3 broken tackles by Travis Parker. Matthew Peterson just had the 1 carry in the game for -1 yards, and Smeagol had a 1 carry for 14 yards, a big third down conversion there near the end of the game to ice it. Receiving, it was Blake Letelier, led the team with 5 catches, 99 yards and a touchdown. Lou Wang, 3 for 53. Luis Gonzalez, 3 for 46. That's kind of been where he's been hovering the whole season. And how about Darian Wilson, 3 for 126 and a touchdown? Whoever they had over there, number 1, Tremaine Brock, he could not, although he did have an interception that was just underthrown terribly, he could not hold Darian Wilson for the life of him. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So Darian Wilson, 3 for 126 and a touchdown. Anthony Bisbee, 2 for 13. Jesse Peterson, 1 for 55. Cameron Quick, 1 for 21. Matthew Peterson, 1 for 7. Josh Gable, 1 for 11. Travis Parker, 1 for 7. Luke Salazewski, 1 for 10, and he left with an injury. So we'll get him his injury status updated. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles. It was Robert Nichols with 7, Tevin Fair, Aaron Nelson with 6, Terrell Oliver with 5, Scott Rethwell, Jerry Myers, Thaddeus Rosa with 4, Paul Fritchie, Richard Salty, Justin Lewis, Matthew Peterson, Rashid Spinks, Poyd Tralamala with 3, Matthew Arnsdorf, Zachary Anderson, Thomas Cross, Jacob Pickering with 2, Ryan Beeler, Drew Ward, Otis McMiller, Derek Fahey, Travis Lee, Josiah Russell with 1. Tackles for loss, we added a couple more here in the second half. Tevin Fair with 2, Scott Rethwell with 2, Justin Lewis, Richard Selfie, Poyd Tralamala with 1. We added another sack here. Tevin Fair had 1 in the second half. Zachary Anderson had a pick and brought it back 6 yards. Pass deflections by both Jerry Myers and Zachary Anderson, both when the Washington football team was pressing in the red zone. No forced fumbles, no fumble recoveries, no blocks, no safeties, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Baker, easy day, no field goals made. It was all touchdowns and 4 for 4 on extra points. Punting, Taylor Pelin had 4 punts, 172 yards, netting 160. As you see, 2 of them went inside the 20. Justin Sandman Vandershoff had 3 kick returns for 74, longest of 28. Jesse Peterson had 3 for 72, longest of 28 as well. Punt return, Robert Nichols had 2 for 14 yards, longest of 9. So not a good day in the punt return. We're going to get you back to the main screen where we will preview next week's game and get you ready for everything Minnesota Vikings versus Los Angeles Rams from US Bank Stadium. Once again, your Minnesota Vikings victorious over the Washington football team, 44-41. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you in just a moment. And hello and welcome back to the main screen. Week 11 is here. Randy Replay back at it again. We did have an injury. Seems like every single game this season we have had an injury. It's somebody show up on the injury report. Luke Slazewski out until week 14 or 15 with a dislocated elbow. So Luke Slazewski will be on the injury report until then. He will be out for 3 weeks. Excuse me. As we take a look at the Rams here, they are riddled with injuries. Robert Woods, wide receiver, broken thumb. Todd Gurley, which is a sigh of relief for us as we just allowed most of the running yards we've ever allowed this season. Broken thumb, out for 5 weeks. Rob Havestein, their right tackle, starting, I do believe, dislocated hip, out 7 weeks. Nickel Roby Coleman, cornerback, one of the starters, I do believe, forearm fracture. And both tight ends are out. Gerald Everett, both 2 starters, dislocated ankle, out for 2. And Dennis Pitta, fractured hip, out for 6. So they are riddled with injuries. So some guys are going to have to come up and make a good play. In the division, the Packers did lose to the Bears. Randy Replay called it. And the Lions won, so that puts them at 3-6. We are at 5-4. The crystal ball never lies, I tell you. So we are 5-4, tied atop the NFC North with those Green Bay Packers. And now looking at the league schedule, the Green Bay Packers, we have the Rams, and the Packers will play the Baltimore Ravens in Lambeau. Oh, don't want to do that. We can force an away win. I didn't even know that. I wanted to see what the Ravens' standings were. That's weird. All right, so let's take a look at these Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens are 6-3. So both teams are playing 6-3 teams. We're playing the Rams, who are 6-3. They're playing the Ravens, who are 6-3. They're on the road, so they are 3-2 on the road, playing better at home, but they're not doing too bad on the road. So, and then what are the Packers at home? The Packers at home are 3-2. So, hopefully they take a loss and then we get a win. But anyway, here we go. Your Minnesota Vikings victorious in Week 10 against the Washington football team, 44-41. That gives us our 3rd win in a row. Yes, 3rd win in a row. Beat the Ravens, beat the Browns, and then had the bye week and came out of the bye week not looking too strong in the first half, but nailed it down in the second. And then we go on to the Rams, and then we're away for 3. Lions, Falcons, Panthers. We're at home against the Bengals in Green Bay, and then at home against the Bears to round out the season. So the season is about to be heated up and is a tie for first in the division. So here we go. Randy Replay. Gonna sign off here. This has been a Randy Replay. I'll see you in the next one.